So the final thing is how to draw in perspective. You know, a lot of people, um, when they draw, they'll draw their simple house, and it'll look something like this, and they'll just measure, you know, the house, and this will be their house. They'll put a door in there, they'll put a window, and that's their idea of drawing in perspective. And I absolutely don't like how that's done. So what we're going to do is we are going to draw a real house in perspective. Now, the first thing that you want to understand is you're going to draw this very similar to a regular house. Alright, so here's our first, oops, I think I'm going to just use my line tool, and I'm going to go a little bit lower here. So this is my first concept in perspective, like so. And then I'm going to just draw a solid block down, and then from there I'm going to decide that I want kind of a garage to this house. So I'm going to move this over like so, and move this up, and then draw this over like so. And now, as you can see, as I'm drawing this, I'm getting a lot of lines. And we're just going to finish those. So there is essentially my house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go in, and I'm going to erase just the rough lines here so you can start seeing the way the house is built. Alright, now with that said and done, you know, and if I erase some of the major lines, as long as I know that they're the major lines, you're okay. So let's see here, let's get in there and just kind of brush this down, and this is the corners. Um, So now, as long as I know that that works, everything's fine and dandy. Now, what you have to realize is how a house is actually constructed. You know, you have to sit and look at a house. So the first thing is, let's figure out our roof. All right, and the roof I'm going to have going across like this. So you want to create a diagonal first, and then from that center point, go straight up. And then determine the height of the roof, which is like this, and I'm just going to draw over, and I'm going to draw over as well, like that. And that's going to give me the triangle side of the roof. I'm going to draw that back, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this one, and that's going to give me the beginning side of the roof here. And this one is not going to be angled as sharp. And again, it's going to go back. So what's going to happen is you're going to get a crease right about there. Now, what most people do is they seam up their roof really tight up like this. Now, you have to, and this is where the hand drawing side comes in. First thing is you want to extend the roof. Extending the roof is going to give you, all right, the eaves on there. And then don't just draw a flat line, give them depth, give them thickness. So it's just a matter of, and this is where your line work can get a little bit more sketchy, but as long as your lines go back and forth, you're okay. So this is, I think, too tight, so I'm going to just extend this down a little bit more, and then as long as it's drawn towards that, there we go. And then same thing this way. We're going to extend this down, and like that. So before we extend this down, let's extend this out, put this down, and like so, and back to this vanishing point. And make sure everything goes back to the vanishing points. And if you need a straight ruler, go for it. I'm just kind of doing this fast to get through the videos so I can show you guys that whole aspect. And then, so like so. So that's the key point, is getting in there and drawing um, the right pieces that you need. Look at how the house is actually constructed. If I'm going to draw a garage door, so I've got my garage door, I've got my horizon line to the garage door. Garage comes down like so. Now, the garage door isn't just this sticker attached to the wall. What happens is you have a frame, so you're going to frame that wall out like so, and then it's also going to indent inward. Now, because this is going above the horizon line, I probably will see a little bit of it, so we'll just draw like so. And then this is indenting, but I'm not seeing it because of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab this, and like so, and then go in with the eraser tool and erase that out. So as you can see, it's just a matter of going in, cleaning up your line work, and erasing, so on and so forth. Now, you have to realize how things are built. You know, the garage door is going to be built in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just build across, and I want relatively equal marks going like so. And as you can see, my lines are getting crazy. So to do this in layers, or to draw on a cellophane sheet and then trace over what you need, you know, that's really what this is about, is going in there and cleaning up your lines and making sure that you understand what's going on. And this is where most people get really confused at it. Um, and then, you know, the house has got, you know, the house might have a trim on it of some sort, or a foundation. So what you want to do is you want to add that on there, and then go this, you know, there's your trim, and then, you know, maybe it's got rocks, and so forth, some sort of texture pattern, whatever you need. But as long as you understand how you're building this in the 3D space, that's the key point. You know, you got to realize windows and doors extrude inward and outward from the doors. Let's just do. I'm gonna just do a really quick wipe here, and what you want to understand is we'll just build a. So we're gonna build an eave set. So say you have to build like a I can't remember what they're called, but it's like the awning window. So what we're going to do is build something like this, and like so. And then what you want to do is build outward too. So it's how far does the window go outward. So again, just kind of like so. And then it's going to go upward, like so. And then, so I just pretty much built just a box. And if you can't see it, let's do something like this. And let's see, is this too? Alright, so I'm just going to paint this in there. Okay, so now that I've built this box, like so, and what you can do is decide how far you want the box to come out. So say if you want a little angle at it, I'm just going to kind of make a choice here. So I'm going to just do something like this. And then what you'd realize is this is going to go backwards, whereas this is going to connect here. So here's our awning of or the front face of the box, or the front window, and it's sticking outside the house, and we're not seeing this back side here. So then it's just a matter of putting the frames in there, And then if you've got a roof on there, you can actually build the roof up, and this can actually be built back and then straight up. So that gives you the roof angle, and so like so, and then remember that the roof is going to build out. So it's just a matter of kind of building on to that section. Now I know this looks like a mess, but as you continue to go, you're going to clean up your line work, you're going to erase stuff, you're going to add new stuff in, and eventually you'll come up with the really nice form of your house, chimneys and stuff like that. And then never forget to put the horizon line in there. And another thing people have is when they try and draw the driveway, they draw the driveway straight down. I don't know why that is, but it's the same principle, taking your driveway and going outward, and everything else needs to fall in that perspective line. So it's just a matter of planning everything out. And if you're doing this on paper, I recommend using a large sheet of tracing paper and then, making your lines and then tracing over the lines that you need. So I hope that helps you guys on perspective, and have fun.